Today it's the Farmer's Guide to Growing Organic Lettuce. We're in Chapter 8, Harvesting and Packing. So by now, people have learned how to grow great lettuce crops. They've spent a lot of time doing that. They have amazing lettuce in the field. How do you keep it looking amazing all the way to the customer? What are the main keys to a successful harvest, pack, and storage?
How we kind of practice this on the farm is one, we're harvesting the lettuce, ideally before 8 a.m., no later than 10. We also like to harvest the lettuce as dry as possible. Then as soon as that's getting harvested, which needs to be done with a sharp, clean knife. We found that if it's dull or if it's dirty, it can lead to oxidization of the ends of your lettuce. And so I think it's important that you have a really razor sharp knife. Then it goes to the walk-in cooler as soon as possible. That's set at 35 degrees, no warmer than 40. It needs to be at that 35, 38 degree mark. Generally speaking, what we're doing is we're only washing this if it absolutely has to be washed. We found that anytime you wash lettuce, it tends to decrease the shelf life. So for like head lettuce, we don't wash it. Occasionally, if we get like a hole in a tunnel or something happened, maybe we'll have to wash it. And that's always a bad day for the pack shed because it takes such a long time. But on the salad mix, the same thing there. If we're using the 5-row jang, normally we don't have to wash that. So we want to make sure that it's dry, that it was clean. Most of the time, if we use the Netafim mixtures, it's a very gentle watering, so it can generally keep the greens fairly clean. And we're harvesting it a couple of inches above the ground anyways. Then as long as that's dry, it goes right to the cooler. The next day, that will get packed in a climate-controlled pack shed. We used to pack in a shed that had no AC, and it just that was really tough on the greens. So as soon as it was packed, it went back in the cooler, and then it just stayed there until it went out to the market or whatever customer. So the basic key is just making sure that lettuce stays as cold, clean, and dry as possible.
For selling lettuce unwashed, any issues with that with customers, or are they accepting of that?
Yep. We do not tell them that it's clean. So we're just honest. Yes, so this has not been washed. Most people wash their produce anyways. And the way I look at our whole system is that if we're doing a step that is not going to add value to a sale, I don't want to do it. So it all comes down to that. We've had to do some things with packaging because that was the only way we could sell it. And so if I ran into a problem, like if my customers told me, I'm not going to buy this unless you wash it, then I'm going to wash it. But I want to push that envelope like as hard as I can, because anytime we have to touch that lettuce one more time, it's decreasing our profits. So if our lettuce is physically dirty and muddy, no one's going to buy that, so we will wash it. For the most part, because we're grown on fabric and tunnels, and we use these Netafim misters, things are very clean.
Place people use wash pack for, one step people use wash pack for is QCing, pulling out bad leaves, stuff like that. Are you QCing in the field? So when somebody harvests their, say head lettuce, they're removing bad leaves there, or is that done after you bring it into the cooler and gets packed?
Both. Let's just say if there's a bad spot of disease. Let's just say if we have salad mix we direct seeded, or maybe some Salanova have some diseases, that is getting avoided and skimmed around in the field. So that's on the harvester's job to make sure that they're giving a very clean, high quality product at first. The post-harvest, they're what we call the last line of defense. So they stand between the production team, the field team, and the customer. So they have to be a lot more tuned, like in case a mistake gets made. But we're not putting over a table and going through it. Like it's a high quality product. Everyone is trained to know, especially in our production team, like we have to grow the cleanest, healthiest weed-free product as possible because our packaging team doesn't have enough time to go through. So there'll be times where we feel like we're going to spend a considerable amount of time going through a bed, or if we're going to harvest it and it's rough, I'll just tell the team compost it. It's just not worth spending an hour or two going through weeds or yellow leaves. Again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have a consistent high quality crop that doesn't need a lot of post-harvest work.
In terms of harvesting, clean, sharp knife, that's going to be for your head lettuces, Salanova, everything else. The loose leaf mix can get harvested with the quick cut greens harvester, which makes that real easy. Are most of your lettuces at this point, are you multi-harvesting or one and doneing?
One and very strong about that. We could get 2 to 3 cuts, but we are so again, this is the whole system on sales, and that is we want to offer a consistent high quality product. And anytime you aim to get that second cut, it does seem like the chances of bad leaves or disease happening tends to increase. What I have found is that the longer a crop is in the field, the more chances of problems arise, whether that be pests, diseases, weeds, etc. It's, hey, we're going to get one cut. Yeah, if we were to wait 2 weeks, I would say maybe we could get another 20 pounds. But by the time we crop that out, planted something else, we could have had a higher yield of some other kind of. And we're also looking for a consistent quality. I just found, especially in the summertime, the best second and third cut, even the flavor tends to be stronger. So just to keep it simple, wanted to move on. Yeah, I'm sure we're leaving some money on the table, but has not fit into our system efficiently.
Same harvesting process, winter and summer?
Yep, same thing. Occasionally, in a side tunnel, if we're growing a crop, we have more time to harvest. We can get 8 to 10 pounds more per bed if we hand harvest versus a greens harvest. Feel like it's worth the time, which rarely we don't feel like it's worth that time, but sometimes it is.
So greens harvester crop comes off the field, goes into the cooler, you start removing the field heat off of it, and you're in your post-harvest setup. Take me from that step to getting in the bag.
Okay. If it was done with the greens harvester, most likely that does not need to be washed. So we take the tote and we like for that field heat, we like for that harvested crop to be in the cooler for 24 hours. So we're handling a cold crop. We don't want to extend the time that crop was warm. We want to keep it cold. We want to bring that temperature down as fast as possible so that way when it comes out the next day in a climate controlled facility, it's not going to be above 70. Once that's done, we essentially have that bin in the field and it's clean. We're not going to wash it. So then we have our 2 bags, we call popcorn bags. They've been pre-labeled, whether it be salad mix, spinach, arugula, whatever that's been. And we have 2 different sizes. I'm about to change it to a third size. Right now we have a 3 pound bag and a 1 pound. And there's reasons for that, which we'll get into in sales. But we have a scale and we're just there. They have 1 bag in one hand, 1 bag that's free to fill it up. And generally speaking, when you do a couple hundred of these a week, you have a good sense of how much it weighs. And you could probably watch, like Sarah, she's in the pack shed now, probably bagging lettuce. Guarantee you most every almost every time is on the money. The way we weigh this is like it's a third pound plus, right? So maybe let's say it's 5.5 ounces for the third pound bag. If it's 6, good enough. As long as it's not below 5.5 ounces. Same thing with the 1 pounders. 16 ounces plus. If it's 17, move it. Like it's good enough. So what can happen is a lot of times once you get in that habit, you can really guess pretty accurately. And once that's done, they're twisting the bag, they're turning it a few times, and it goes into our market. Rolls into the walk-in cooler. Market day, that rolls into our trailer. You roll it out the market, and it sells from that market cabinet.
Part of the strategy of those popcorn bags, you try and keep a little air in the bag, shake it up a little, give it that voluminous look to it.
Exactly. Especially for the third pound, because it can settle a good bit. The 1 pound stays pretty full. But there's a lot of lettuce mix in that 1 pound bag. But yeah, it's nice to have kind of the air. It does really help with the overall sales.
For head lettuce, how does that get packaged up to go to market?
We used to sell that loose on the, but then a new market that we tried to sell to, they did not like it loose. They wanted it in a bag, which we did not like because that increased our post-harvest labor. What we found out, this kind of bleeds a little bit into sales, but what was happening is we were only selling maybe 25 heads of lettuce a week at the market, which was terrible. Like I need to sell a few hundred. Once we put them into bags and we labeled them with our just black and white laser, just easy label, we had the varieties, say with panisi lettuce or butter lettuce or green leaf, whatever it was, our farm information, then we were able to increase our sales to 400 heads of lettuce a week simply by putting them in bags. Now, the market that we were, they loved it loose. They didn't want to be in bags. So this is more, we're dipping into the sales thing, but it's really understanding what your customer, what they want. And what we did for that extra step is we raised the price a lot because it took a lot more time. So we raised the price from $3 a head to $5.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to think about in all processes on the farm. Every time somebody's touching something,
Cost money.
It's adding costs. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So you either got to get more for it,
or
you got to ask yourself, do I need to do this touch in the first place? Regulation, maybe the market demands it, whatever.
Right.
Maybe it's just quality. I have to do that. So it's definitely considering that. For washing the salad, that's one of those things that I've covered on a lot of different shows. There's extensive talk on it on the book in terms of the equipment, the tanks, the bubbler, all the drying stuff you use on page 141. But if you think about it, just not washing everything over the course of a year, like what percentage of mix are you washing? Is it 10%? Less than that?
One thing that we do wash is if we mixed, so this is the one, if we mix Salanova with a direct seeded salad mix, we do wash those two together.
You allow the bubbler and stuff to mix it up?
Yeah, we used to try to mix it dry and toast, but it's so much volume that it was just a lot easier to have salad mix, have Salanova in a bubbler, let the bubbles mix it, and then spin dry it.
Do you have any sense of how much you save by cutting out washing?
Oh,
obviously it's a lot of time, but there's probably some pretty good money there, right?
Yes. So I would say it takes them about an hour to wash and spin 100 pounds of salad mix. So we're not talking like 10 hours here. But if you're doing 300 to 400 pounds a week, that does add up. You just freed yourself. Someone got freed up a half a day.
It's important to know those times so you have some concept of what is this costing us.
And this is why, like on the cost sheets, it's very important that your time. Everyone is going to be slower than some things than others. Like no one's going to be as fast as me and my wife because this is our business and there's other things that we want to do except for washing lettuce mix. But if you have an idea of like how long that takes you, then have some benchmarks of okay, it takes someone else times and a half. So instead of taking them hour, it's an hour versus maybe it would take Ashley an hour. But with our system, anyone can wash after a few times of doing this in an hour. What they have a hard time doing is packaging it at the same time. So my wife, she can pack because there's this rhythm to this whole thing. You're bubbling, you're spinning, that goes into a clean tote, and you start the whole thing over. While you're waiting for those buckets to be spinning, you can be packing the lettuce that just got dumped out. She can keep up, and that whole hour is done. She's washed, spun, and bagged 100 pounds of salad mix in 1 hour. Not everyone can do the bag part. That's like that extra level that she can squeeze in there that just takes a little bit more time to learn that whole flow. But you need to know those times. If it's taking you 2 hours a day to wash salad mix, 2 hours for 100 pounds, you're doing 400 pounds a week. That's a whole day for somebody that you could cut out simply by trying to grow a cleaner.
Yeah, it's not just we're not going to wash. It's we've tried to eliminate washing by other measures that we've taken.
For a specific reason.
Right.
There's a reason why we don't want to do this. Now, we can occasionally, and again, if you're mixing different crops, okay, it is easier to wash them together in that regard than try to like dry mix them. For the head lettuce, it takes a lot longer to wash head lettuce than it does salad mix. Because with head lettuce, we're like ducking one at a time. We stack a few in a spinner. It just takes it's a lot more fragile. Yeah. That is the real type stuff. They've spent 8 hours before washing, drying properly, bagging 400 head of lettuce before. So
probably one call out for anybody who is spending a lot of time in wash pack is to look at that process and say, what steps are needed here?
Yep.
Can we do this a different way? Does our market demand it? Those types of questions.
Yep.
Talk about
I was going to add one more thing since we're in the washing thing, is if you want to go in the GAP certified direction, they like it when you don't wash anything. So think about that. If you look at California, when they're doing head lettuce, they're literally packing into boxes in the field. So GAP certification would rather you not wash anything because that is a potential for contaminating foodborne illnesses.
There's probably something in there too of you tell somebody it's washed, they think they can just eat it, where you want to encourage them to wash it.